So I'm curious because I see some of the comments and it seems like a lot of guys have internet crushes on you.
Yeah.
Did that lead to a weird dynamic between you and your now husband?
Not at all, because he was, I think, unthreatened. He was just like, that's fine. But yeah, I'm asked about that a lot. And, I'm not somebody who feeds into it. I think that it would be a very different conversation if I was a girl who like posted bikini photos all the time and was on like OnlyFans or whatever it is. But it's like, it's just being a girl on the internet and people are going to think what they're going to think, and that's fine. And if you are posting the like sad gifs every time I post any picture, like that's fine. I laugh about it. I know he looked at it as just kind of like, that's really sweet. That's like great. And he's not threatened by it at all. He's like the most like understated, secure, unflappable man I've ever met.
Would you say that's boosted your confidence overall, like all of those comments and the memes and everything? Or would you say it's been an overall negative thing?
Oh, gosh. I think it's been kind of neutral because it just overwhelmed me at first. Like when I saw that, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't put myself out there that way. I don't even like think of myself as any kind of, I don't know, it's weird to think of yourself in some kind of like romantic or like, oh, people like you way. Like it's like very weird. And so they just like crack me up, I guess. But yeah, it's not the negative part of it comes when there's like people that are like too obsessed and then it becomes like physical and you encounter it in your real life. And then it's like, okay, well then
Have you encountered that?
Yes.
What's been the experience?
Thankfully it's few and far between, but, and I've not had to have like physical altercations or that kind of thing, but I do have, as I think most, especially like women in the public eye, like I've had a few stalkers and that kind of thing, and men who have like moved to Nashville.
Are you serious?
Yes, yeah. And I have a great team, and thankfully I'm able to like
Holy crap.
have people who are really good at what they do, who, make sure that I'm protected. But I think that's where, when it crosses the line of like, oh, that's really sweet, you like me, and, like, oh, I want a wife like Brett, I want a girl like Brett. I'm like, that's great. That's really sweet. I hope you find them. Like, that's awesome. But when it crosses the line of like, oh, the emails are threatening or this is odd and why are you following my friends around? Like, thankfully, they have not like gotten to me, but have like gotten people close to me. And that's something, it was interesting. I was asked about that recently for a piece. And the reporter was asking if that was like, if it had become normal. It's like, no, that's not normal. Like, you become accustomed to it and you become, I guess accustomed is not even the right word, but you kind of become prepared and you have like a system in place and it's like, it's not shocking to me. But I never want that to be normal. I think it's a very weird, like, wrinkle in the human experience to have so many eyes on you and to like be thinking about that. And I never want it to be something that's like, oh yeah, stalker or whatever. It's like, no, that's never, that's like objectively
got to start hitting them off, fending them off.
But yeah, so that's just kind of it unfortunately comes with the territory.
Is there anything that you've regretted being so open about, or that you look back on and just think, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I didn't share this part of myself?
I don't think so. I think even if there are things where people have had opinions on them, or it's like, it's still my life.
Yeah.
And it hasn't made a huge impact on me. I've often gone back and forth about, and we did prior to doing this, but like of Alex having any kind of like public anything. And we ended up, and I'm glad that we did, because I think hiding it only makes, people don't know anything that they want to. It was just hard for him because people were like finding out things about him and looking into his family and that kind of stuff.
Did people find it? Because I remember you posted a photo. I think you put like an emoji over his face, or there was like you guys hugging, but it was like the back of his.
It was when we got engaged. It was the first time I had ever talked about ever being in a relationship or even like showed remotely who he was, and it was just the back of his head. And I was like, because I think people should know that I'm like, you're ring on my finger, like engaged. And then we kind of had 6 months of figuring out whether he wanted his face to be shown or whether he wanted to be talked about.
Did people guess it right in the beginning? Because I saw like a lot of the comments were like, I think it's this person. They'd start linking to profiles and like doing detective.
There were a couple people who like through Reddit had like known somebody who knew me and said something there, and they were like, okay, I'm looking at the back of his head and I could see this tagged photo. This guy looks, I mean, it was just a whole thing. And so that was
So a few people did get it right.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I think that was one of the reasons where I was like, okay. And Alex and I had a conversation, and I was like, they're going to find out who you are anyway. And so you just tell me what you want to do. And he was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, as long as you're protected, that was his like main thing, is like, as long as you are safe and our family is safe, like I'll do whatever it needs to be. But it was like, I never wanted to like thrust that upon him and be like, here's my new boyfriend, like take a picture. Because that's like.
Any part of you that thought maybe I should just leave this separate and never mention it?
There was, but I didn't feel like that was super genuine, because I share so much else. Like even on Comment Section, which was like a news show, I think the reason why it kind of worked and was different than a lot of other like newsy shows was because it wasn't just that I was reading headlines and going through stories, but I was relating it to things in my life. I was sharing stories of, oh, I had this experience. I talked very openly.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like if I just completely hide this and close it off, and especially with being, I think that might be easier for older generations or people that are more in like the news corporate media, where you kind of just know them as, you know, the woman that you see on your TV, but you don't know anything about your personal life. But it's like, I had a huge social media following. I would post things about my personal life on Instagram. I would share these personal stories on YouTube. It's like, that feels like a very just weird thing to hide. And I didn't feel right to me, because this was obviously impacting a lot of, you know, the moves that I would be making and the things that I believe and the things that were happening in my life. And it was like, what if one day I just pop up and I'm pregnant? People are like, what happened there? Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So the thought did cross my mind, because it's definitely easier and you want to protect somebody that you love. And I was like, I've chosen to be somebody that's online, but you didn't. And so, I mean, it's kind of choosing by marrying me, but this wasn't your end all be all. And that's one of the reasons why I love him, is because he's so private.
Now, you might have noticed that I'm someone who pays close attention to trends, and lately I've been noticing cowboy boots everywhere. It's pretty clear that a great pair of boots isn't just for the ranch anymore. They pair incredibly well with everything from casual outfits to full-on business attire, and that's why I'm excited to announce today's sponsor, Tecovas.
Have you ever wondered if you could pull off boots? I'll tell you what, I absolutely have. Let's be honest, you owe it to yourself to try out Tecovas. Tecovas makes handcrafted Western boots with over 200 meticulous steps for a perfect fit right out of the box. Whether you're a lifelong cowboy or a first-time boot buyer like myself, you'll feel right at home in them.
A great pair of boots really just pulls everything together. With Tecovas, you don't just look put together, you feel put together. And trust me, people notice. And right now, you can get 10% off when you sign up for email and text when you go to tecovas.com/iced. That's TECOVAS.com/ICED. Tecovas.com/iced.
Plus, Tecovas backs every pair with their Best in the West guarantee, with free returns and exchanges for 30 days. Seriously, guys, I genuinely recommend Tecovas, and if you think you can't pull off cowboy boots, see for yourself. You might be surprised. Thank you so much to Tecovas for sponsoring this episode.